Definitely.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, where we get to sit around and listen to Jesse fart at the microphone before the show. Hey, woo-hoo.
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans, by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
That was dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gregg.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host.
Hey, I'm your host. I'm John Taman, and I am glad I am not sitting in Jesse's office right now because that's serious. Just before we start the show, this dude, because you know his diet there, Scott, is nothing but leaves and twigs and shit. Right,
Kale and rice.
Right, kale. You know, his ice cream was Raisin Bran flavor ice cream. So, he has to blow it out before the. I'm telling you what, man, disgusting motherfucker. However, I would like to report to Jesse, he's a virgin. At least it sounds like it, anyway. Here's our good friend Max, who's got all kinds of microphone troubles. He's going to sound like an air conditioner's on. How you doing there? You all right? You fancy sound better?
I think so. We'll see.
All right. Well, that came out sounding like French to me. What about you, Scott? How are you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks, mate. Busy day at work, but yeah, all good.
Busy day at work. It is Tuesday, and we're not prepared for Tuesday podcasts. I like to do things on Fridays, and now I'm getting all discombobulated.
Are we really prepared for Friday podcasts?
No, not really, but that's all right. That's all right. All right, so we had
everybody
some
in the chat.
Yep.
Tim, Ellen, Karen.
Welcome to everybody.
Even Scott G. I'm welcoming you, Scott G.
Scott G showing up to talk his shit.
Fucking fuck.
It must be getting ready for some football. We do have a new sponsor. It is the Ron Rivera Re-Education School. So let's go ahead and hear from them.
Players drafted or signed by head coach Ron Rivera between the years of 2020 and 2023. This message is for you.
I am a football player that was drafted or signed by Ron Rivera.
You may be eligible for a special discount rate to the Ron Rivera Position Flex Academy.
That sounds good. This is Ron Rivera, and I can show you a whole new way to succeed now that football hasn't worked out the way we had hoped.
That's right. You could be eligible for college-level courses to help you position flex into an amazing new career. Careers like shopping center security officer, parking facility attendant, French fry station operator, Uber driver, mop and broom technician, office building cleaning specialist, and many more. Learn from incompetent instructors at home over the internet, much like you did when you played football for Ron Rivera.
Hi, Ron here. If I drafted you, I'm real sorry about that. I mean, you had that cousin that was in the Navy, and I got all carried away. But hey, all of that's in the past. Now we focus on moving forward. Am I right?
That's right, Ron. But wait. If your parents were in the military, or knew someone in the military, or knew someone who said they knew someone who used to be in the military, you get a 10% discount on your first month's tuition.
Wow, that sounds great. My dad was in the Army.
Go to the head of the class, young man. Claim your name tag and hairnet today. And if you sign up today, get this special secondary course, How to Get the Most from Your Health Insurance Benefits by Professor Clinton Portis. Sign up today. Class is forming fast. If you are
there you go. Thank you very much to the Ron Rivera Position Flex Academy for sponsoring the show. All right, so I have not heard any of the cuts yet. Believe it or not, I've been busier than shit all day, and I know that I should have paid attention and, fucked off work and everything like that, but I did not. So today is a day for lists.
It is a day for lists.
I'll make it real easy for you, John. Pretty much everybody that Ron Rivera drafted got cut.
Well, at least there's an academy for them to go to get a new job. All right, and it did not take any kind of ESP to know that. We're going to see if any of your stuff was right. So, Scott, I will defer to you. Here's what I mind because this is a list thing, and Scott, of course, he's been touching himself over there. All right, so hit me. I have not heard a single cut. Who got cut?
I've got my list here.
Look at this. He's got it probably in triplicate. He's got 3 columns there. Look at him. It's color coordinated.
Exactly. So I'll go through the cuts then as they've come out. So wide receiver Kaz Allen cut, cornerback Chiggy Newsome, safety Kendall Brooks, wide receiver Martavius Bryant, Tariq Castro Fields.
So wait a minute. Martavis Bryant made it?
No, these are
cuts.
These are cuts.
Oh, because I don't know who's this Martavius person.
It's Martavis Brian. Then sorry, I apologise. He was that influential. I couldn't remember his name.
Blame Britain.
Braden
not blaming
Daniels, Davion Davis,
Man's got
wide
a goddamn
receiver.
job to do.
Guard Julian Good-Jones, defensive end Jalen Harris, quarterback Sam Hartman, defensive end KJ Henry.
No.
Defensive end Justin Hollins, defensive end Andre Jones Jr., running back Austin Jones, cornerback Kai Blue Kelly, quarterback Trace McSorley, D tackle Hagi Nabusi, tackle David Nagawuru, cornerback James Pierre.
He did well. He did
Anthony
quite well.
Pittman, defensive tackle Ben Potato.
Ben Potato got cut.
As they call him. Yeah.
So now he's Ben French Fry if he got cut. He's Ben Sliced Potato, right?
Safety Sheldrick Redwine, running back Chris Rodriguez Jr.
Yeah, we saw that.
Wide receiver Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint, linebacker Chappelle Russell, center Ricky Stromberg, tackle Armani Taylor Priolu. That was
That was our
wide
signing because we
receiver-
cut it on
That
Armani,
was, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Wide receiver Mitchell Tinsley, center Cameron Tom, wide receiver Bryson Tremaine, tight end Cole Turner, cornerback Nick Whiteside II, running back Michael Wiley, and
Too bad.
cornerback AJ Woods.
So they kept Driscoll and Mariota.
For now.
Did.
Yeah.
See, they heard Jesse and I arguing so passionately last week about all of this, and they said, you know, these guys are fucking right.
Well, I think here's, Scott asked the question, what do you think they're going to do now? Because I figured they were going to, just keep two because you were able to call up. But the NFLPA put a nix on that. And I understand why they did it. It's not fair. You're kind of keeping someone on there and not really giving them a full contract because of it. Keeping someone on the practice squad.
Right.
So I'm wondering if more teams are going to do that. The Browns kept 4 fucking quarterbacks. I'm sure it's not going to be on. And listen, we got to remember this 53 isn't the final 53.
Oh no,
at all.
No.
There's going to be plenty of moves. I see multiple players on the roster right now that's going to get cut, including my guy Yankoff. I'm not sure if he's going to stick. I hope he does.
So you think that
I know the staff likes him, but they're going to go after waivers, 100%.
So you think you're saying if you get your man and yank off, it's going to get sticky? That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
So Max, before we go, I mean Scott G's got a good point there. So
he does.
First, it was
the
three.
Fuck does he have to say?
Three to IR and 1 to the pup. So the 3 to IR was Jordan McGee, defensive end Norrell Pollard, and defensive tackle Taylor Storworth, and then F.A. Obada was put on the pup list.
How long is McGee on IR?
Minimum
4
4.
weeks. Minimum.
Okay, minimum of 4. All right. Yeah, I
So
believe Kim's right. I think. Go ahead, Max.
I've got one question for Jesse, actually, based off of that point: is who's at the bottom of the roster in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I always spoke about one of them is Yankoff. I think you got to. I know earlier today they were trying to shop Coulter. I never expected them to get any, but we talked about it last week. If they're going to be running a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, do they really want to keep 4 tight ends,
Yeah.
I think Cole Turner's going to get back on the practice squad. I think he's going to clear waivers pretty easily. There's a couple other tight ends that got let go today that were kind of surprises from other teams. Derek Force for another. They got 6 safeties.
6 safeties.
Yeah.
6
man.
safeties.
I don't see
7
that.
if you.
Special teams.
Hampton.
Hampton's they've been running at linebacker.
Yeah, Hampton.
They
If you when they turned in the list, I have the list right here. They got him as a linebacker as well.
Yeah.
But he's going to be playing both. I mean, he's like a Chin. Chin's going to be playing a lot of inside the box too. So if you include Hampton, that's 7. I don't think they're going to get rid of Hampton with his, position. I know we hate this term, but this position flexibility. But I don't, Forrest was always a bubble guy to me from the beginning of the season. Nobody believed me, but the numbers, man. It's the numbers. And he was playing at the end of the game on that third preseason game. I mean, they didn't even dress Percy Butler.
No, they didn't.
Everybody was saying, later on in OTAs, they're going to keep him over Percy Butler. And sorry, this just hasn't been the case whatsoever. So I don't think the wide receiver room is complete yet.
No.
I think they're going to bring someone in. I would love for them to go after John Mitchie from the Texans. I know they were trying to shop him earlier today.
Should have given him Cole Turner.
I think the offensive line is a little suspect right now.
Did you say Braden Daniels was cut? Did I hear that name go by?
Yes, he was. Yeah. So
Braden
looking
Daniels
at
was cut, which is a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah,
since
to me.
he played well. This he had a really good camp. But Trent Scott, look for him. He's got to be at the bottom of the roster as well too.
True. I mean,
as well as Chris Paul.
They can't go so light there, man. It's you're asking for trouble. Go ahead, Max.
Points I've got here. Go on, Max. You go, mate. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, in terms of the Chris Paul, in my eyes, the reason his camp and his preseason especially was so poor, they were playing him at tackle, and he's not a tackle. He's an interior lineman at best. And I mean, if you put
that's the key word, at best. But he was getting blown up playing
at
guard
tackle
too.
At both spots. Did they play him at guard?
Yeah. He only played at tackle because everybody was freaking hurt. Wiley was hurt. Coleman was hurt. And they needed somebody to stick there. So they were sticking, Mason Brooks before he got cut, and Trent Scott. They just didn't have the numbers. That's why he was playing there.
No, they didn't, because in all honesty, when you got Mason Brooks and Trent Scott out there, they ought to both be allowed to be on one side, and you're allowed to probably put two other guys on the other side. But the NFL said, no, that's too many guys. That's 13 guys, so no.
So suppose
they have him listed as a guard too. So Chris Paul is a guard too. I mean, but that's what they were doing that for a lot of players. I mean, even Jahan Dotson, they were trying to move him around, see where they stuck best, see if they could spark something. So why they're having Emmanuel Forbes return punts earlier on in the off season.
So when you're talking about you don't think they're done with the wide receivers, would you say they're going to be shopping it for a number two? I think Diami Brown's got it.
Let's look at the wide receiver room right now. Okay, obviously Terry McLaurin. Diami Brown, Luke McCaffrey, OZ, Zacchaeus, Jameson Crowder. And
can we call him the Wizard of Oz?
There you go.
If he does something right, yeah, we can.
So I've wrote loads of
Byron
players
Pringle.
that we've got. Byron Pringle and Jameson Crowder is the other one.
They like Byron Pringle for kickoffs.
And Jameson Crowder is your punt returner, period.
He is. So I'm looking at these. I mean, I've got loads of names here from people who've been cut, and we'll get onto that, I'm sure. But
can you show us that list, Scott?
Oh yeah, of course.
Look at that thing. Look at that.
Put your pants on.
My God, look at that list.
So one of the talking points we just gone over was Chris Paul and Trent Scott. Jeremy McNichols as running back 3 over Wiley.
Yeah, I think they stuck with
the veteran. Reasonable. I get that.
Yeah, he played well the other night.
Both Mathis and Ridgeway make the 53-5 DTs.
That was very questionable. They were trying to shop Ridgeway, and
I'm telling you,
be surprised if they trade him.
I'm telling you, it's Johnny Newton and his injury. It's not that it's some kind of like Ron Rivera with the wide receiver who's tweaked and can't ever get on the field. I just think he hasn't worked hard. He hasn't worked yet. All right, it's not that he doesn't work hard, but he's been hurt. All right, he's been coming back. He's not ready yet. And they got to have a healthy rotation there.
I think if they were worried about it, they would have put him on the.
He might be ready by week 2. He might be ready. They might feel more comfortable with him in week 2 or 3. But as of yet, he hasn't faced an opponent. And you got to have a healthy rotation at defensive tackle. You're just asking, like I say, in the trenches, you got to keep as many as you can. And I think they're asking for trouble getting rid of some of these guys that they've gotten rid of. They're pretty.
They're really
trusting
light,
Trent
they're
Scott.
Really
Your
light
depth is
offensive
bad.
tackle.
And Deluxe, I think you're happy about keeping all the safeties. They're not keeping all the safeties. There's no way they're keeping 7 safeties on this roster.
Special
They're
teams
not even
players
keeping 6.
There you go. Oh yeah. Reeves is a special teams.
Yeah.
Where do you put Owens?
Owens is a strong safety, man.
Owens has also been playing gunner, and he's been playing it well.
Yeah,
right.
He plays very well.
What I'm saying though is Owens isn't a starting safety.
No.
So where do you put him?
You put him maybe if you want to try to put him out on defense, you put him in some dime package or someplace where you need somebody tall and big coming flying down. But I'm thinking as a gunner, that's where he's going to earn his money this year.
And then you've got Percy Butler, who's going to be the backup to free safety to Quan.
Backup free safety.
You've got Quan, and you got Chin, and then you've got Forrest. Forrest is the only one of the safeties that we kept outside of the 3 that we named that can't play special teams. So Forrest is probably going to be that bottom one, which is very strange to say.
Well, not really. If you've been listening.
It's just
amazing,
numbers,
Jesse.
It's just numbers. That's the only thing I was looking at.
Looking at the strong safety side, Max, we've got Jeremy Chin and Percy Butler as strong safeties. As free safety, we've got Quan, Reeves, Tyler Owens, and Derek Forrest. That's our 4 there.
Do you think that one of them could be moved to corner?
It's very possible if any of them are able to play it because our corners, other than Sanders Drill, who do you
I think Owens is the one that is going to be moved to corner.
He's athletic enough.
And, I mean, he's also got the size. He's 6'2". Like, if you look at Dan Quinn's entire coaching regime from the time he was in Seattle through Atlanta through Dallas, his corners have been big. And frankly, we don't have a big corner.
Your two starting
Deluxe.
safeties at the moment, though, is...
But you're taking
Forrest
that's a
is
project.
Not big enough to play in the box, man. Forrest is small. I mean, he's smaller than I am. He's shorter than I am.
And let me tell you,
he's not a big
Forrest
guy.
is 6 foot
Jesse's a
200.
dwarf. I don't know if anybody knew it, but we get special parking when we go to the game.
What did you say?
Forrest is 6 foot 200.
That's a lie. Because we met him face to face. He's not that tall.
Tiny.
No,
He is tiny.
he's not that tall.
I wasn't him.
He doesn't look
He was probably. I don't feel like
we had a conversation with him. I'm 5'10". He is my height at best.
They've got, just in terms of safeties, Tyler Owens is listed at 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Reeves is at 5'11". Butler is 6
Tyler
foot
Owens
even.
looks a 6'2". He
looks a 6'3". He is
Forrest
a big
and
boy.
Quan are both 6, and then Chin is 6'3".
So it's going to be Chin and Quan are going to be his 2 starting safeties. With the nickel safety will be Sandra Still. I mean, do you think Sandra Still could play outside?
They're talking about it.
They've
Because who we got outside hasn't been able to play very well.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's the boundary number 1 here in 2
Because I'm looking at the corners here now. So you've got Forbes on one side, St. Juice on another side, Michael Davis.
My impression of Emmanuel Forbes running past the screen.
Noah I and Mike Sandra Still are your nickel corners at the moment.
I don't think Sandra Still is going to be your nickel.
I think they're going to get him on the field more than that. Yeah, I think they're going to try to get him on the field as absolutely much as possible.
Frankly,
that's why I think they've got so many different guys in that realm there, the safety and linebacker realm, because I think they're going to interchange a lot of things. They're going to do some interesting stuff. And go ahead.
To use that as a quick pivot, but if you're just talking corners and safeties, go ahead.
Yeah, no. That's all I was saying. When we're trying to make sense of why have they done this, I think that they are going to do some different things, not necessarily the hybrid stuff that Ron used to try to pull with JDR, but they're going to definitely be using these guys in different ways. Probably more of them on the field than we think.
That's a great segue there, John, because going back to what you're saying about hybrid and position flex and stuff, obviously Davis was listed in the 53 as a defensive end, and Hampton listed as linebacker rather than safety. So there's a bit of pokery there as well.
And I'm
the other
also
one to
wondering, just on the Hampton aspect of it, is that because of McGee's on the IR as well too, that could play a role, possibly.
Yeah,
he's size enough for linebacker.
So the thing for me that's most interesting about the linebackers, Dante Fowler is listed as a linebacker.
Yeah,
they list a lot of pass rushers that way nowadays.
So
nowadays,
like,
back in the old days.
It's almost like that's the other way around, isn't it, Max? You'd expect Davis to be the linebacker and
Yeah.
Dante Fowler to be the outside.
Because Dante Fowler
yeah.
is an edge rusher, and
Yeah.
Davis is not.
They've gone the wrong way round, yeah.
Look, I think they're doing it for numbers. You got for defensive line, we got that right. They kept 9 defensive linemen total.
Yeah.
And then your linebackers, they kept 5 total. But obviously that doesn't include McGee. Then that would give you 6. That's really heavy on linebackers, and that includes Fowler as well. So you bring back McGee, put Fowler on the defensive line. That's 10 and still 10 and 5. Look, we know this roster is nowhere near complete yet. They've all but came out and say, hey, we're going to hit the freaking waiver wire pretty heavy. I mean,
we're number 2. We got the number 2 waiver pick. You're not going to sit on that.
Looking back to the cuts, then, guys. I mean, the cuts that I've noted down here that I thought were, I suppose, not terrible cuts, but the biggest cuts were KJ Henry, Andre Jones Jr., Anthony Pittman, Stromberg, Cole Turner, and Michael Wiley.
Stromberg. People that are going to suffer Stromberg being cut of the fucking local KFC in his neighborhood. Good Lord, that dude's got a gut on him. Who are the other
surprise? What the surprise one to me is KJ Henry.
KJ Henry, yeah. Jones hasn't done anything to merit except take somebody's helmet off and throw it at him in practice against Miami. You did mention position flex earlier, so we must hear from our sponsor.
A football player drafted or signed by head coach Ron Rivera between the years of 2020 and 2023. This message is for you.
I am a football player that was drafted or signed by Ron Rivera.
You may be eligible for a special discount rate to the Ron Rivera Position Flex Academy.
That sounds good. This is Ron Rivera, and I can show you a whole new way to succeed now that football hasn't worked out the way we had hoped.
That's right. You could be eligible for college-level courses to help you position flex into an amazing new career. Careers like shopping center security officer, parking facility attendant, French fry station operator, Uber driver, mop and broom technician, office building cleaning specialist, and many more. Learn from incompetent instructors at home over the internet, much like you did when you played football for Ron Rivera.
Hi, Ron here. If I drafted you, I'm real sorry about that. I mean, you had that cousin that was in the Navy, and I got all carried away. But hey, all of that's in the past. Now we focus on moving forward. Am I right?
That's right, Ron. But wait. If your parents were in the military, or knew someone in the military, or knew someone who said they knew someone who used to be in the military, you get a 10% discount on your first month's tuition.
Wow, that sounds great. My dad was in the Army.
Go to the head of the class, young man. Claim your name tag and hairnet today. And if you sign up today, get this special secondary course, How to Get the Most from Your Health Insurance Benefits by Professor Clinton Portis. Sign up today. Class is forming fast.
Sorry, Paulie, no time, but that's what you get. There you go. There's our sponsor, the Ron Rivera Position Flex Academy. And, of course, Jesse, who could have taken a pister, and that whole thing decides to get up now.
Yeah,
all right, so Scotty, you were saying.
Yeah, I've done a bit of digging here as to who's been cut from other rosters and who's doing what. And I've come up with a few names of positions that we've just been talking about here. So I've got wide receiver, cornerback, tight end, and O-line. And I've got a running back on here as well. Where would you like me to start?
O-line, please.
Okay, so the first one on the O-line is Jackson Carman, who's played both right tackle and left tackle at Cincinnati. He is a free agent as it stands. Obviously, former pick quite well there. Royce Newman, who is a left guard. He's played 51 games for the Packers. He started 24. He plays left guard and right guard, so we need a guard. Do you know what I mean? We're lacking quite in the interior there. Yes, I do have a list, Burrows. I've kind of moved away from Alex Leatherwood. Don't really want anything to do with him, even though he is an offensive tackle. But the biggest one for me is who's from New Orleans. He's previously with Miami. Is Jesse Davis. He's played 95 games and he started 72 games. He's played left guard, right tackle, and he started 27 games at left tackle. He's a good player. He's not bad, and he's going to be better than Trent Scott. So if you're looking at that offensive line and saying Chris Paul and Trent Scott, take them out and give me Royce Newman and Jesse Davis, and already you've got a better offensive line straight away. So, yeah, that's where I would go.
I kind of disagree with you with Alex Leatherwood.
Would you take Alex Leatherwood?
I would put him take him in front of Trent Scott all day, every day.
Probably. Probably.
I mean,
He's
Jesse,
a
the thing
first-round
about
pick for a reason, isn't he?
yeah, but there's a reason he was cut after his rookie year.
There's a reason why all these motherfuckers are cut.
Right, but
know?
you're gonna
like,
look at,
let's be real here. We're looking for depth, and
Right,
we're looking
but you're
for
just-
something that's better than what we got.
and you're looking at Alex Leatherwood.
I mean, it's better than what we got. I mean,
Jesse, the grass isn't
Raiders
always
draft
greener. Alex Leatherwood is someone that they spray paint the grass green to make it look good.
Did we forget what happened to Trent Scott all summer freaking long?
I get it. I get it. A leatherhead? No.
Right, but you've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
I'll take the plate, man. Give me the plate all day long.
That's Trent Scott.
All right, wide receivers. Let me hear some wide receivers.
Okay, wide receivers. So we've got Paris Campbell from the Eagles. We've got Kadarius Toney from the Kansas City Chiefs.
No.
We've got Terrence Marshall from the Panthers. I could be quite interested in him.
Michigan?
KJ Hamler
LSU.
from Buffalo. Noah Brown from the Houston Texans is the
That
one I actually
definitely-
really want.
Definitely.
Played for the Cowboys between 17 and 22. And in his last year with the Cowboys, he got 567 yards and 2 TDs. Then last year he was with the Texans, and he got 555 in yards, and he got 3 TDs. So he's got history
play.
with this coaching staff as well. And as a wide receiver 3 option, you want someone who's going to get you 500 yards a season. That's kind of where you want to be in and around the area.
Or a 4.
Or you can go for a wide receiver 2 option, and you have to give up something.
Mechie.
But John
Yeah,
Mechie,
John
man, that's the one I'm really like.
One other
Man, that would be great.
Other ones that are out there, you've got Equiminius St. Brown, not interested that much. Allen Robinson, from the
I'll
Giants.
take his brother.
But the one, exactly. But the one I am interested in is Dwayne Eskridge from Seattle, who is their kick returner and special teams ace, former second rounder from 2021.
You're just waiting to get rid of Jameson Crowder, aren't you?
He's trying
Mate,
to.
younger at the position, and he can return. That's where I'm looking at.
I'm glad you didn't say Kadarius Toney, because I am not a fan.
No. I was going to ask Max, if he remembers when he was a baby. I told him from always. Here he comes. Hang on a second. Max, do you remember when you were a baby in the crib and I looked down at you and I said, never, ever sign a Kadarius Toney? No, you probably don't remember. No. You were real small. But would you sign Kadarius Toney?
No.
So, see? It took.
No, Yam, I 100% agree with Yam. For those that are just listening, Yam says our current wide receiver room does not excite me at all. And I get it. And that's why I don't think they're done with it. I truly don't.
The thing about Toney is just his hands are stone. The only pass he really caught last year was that pass from Kelsey where he was offsides.
Yeah. Brian says it best. No, Kadarius Toney. If Mahomes can't throw it to him, nobody can. And I agree completely. Not only that, but he makes stupid fucking mistakes.
Like, Mahomes can look like he can make like he's like a Tom Brady. He can make the most obscure wide receiver look really good, and he couldn't even make Kadarius Toney look good.
Nope, couldn't do it.
The thing about Toney, just as a skill set, I'm sorry, Scott.
No, go
Toney,
ahead.
he was really good at Florida when he could actually get the ball in his hands in space. And the Giants couldn't do that. So they traded him because, frankly, what else are the Giants going to do with a weapon? They're going to get rid of it. And then they sent him to the Chiefs, and again, he couldn't hold the ball. When he could hold the ball, he was all right with it. But his hands are just stone.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of guys do well in college and then show up in the NFL and play like shit. And as you can see, a lot of them get thrown off of our football team. Way to go, Ron Rivera. Nice job.
I think Noah Brown is probably the only realistic one out there who has connections to this coaching staff and has shown in the past 2 years that he's not injured and he has got a bit of say around him and he can get you 500 yards. So as a wide receiver 3 or 4, for me, that's a good thing, because then you're probably getting rid of Pringle maybe, and that's it there. But I mean, other positions I've got one kicker in Andres Carson from Green Bay, who's a very good kicker. But we now owe whoever Cincinnati a 7th round pick, because Cade, you all made the roster.
The thing about Anders Carlson, I can tell
Dude,
you,
I gotta give a shout out real quick. Josh Taylor, way ahead of the curve on the Cade York mustache there, buddy.
Go ahead,
Max.
I can tell you that Anders Carlson started the season well last year, and then down the stretch couldn't hit a 30-yarder, and that is pretty. If memory serves right, the Packers were losing games because their kicker couldn't hit field goals.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that he was that
Well,
bad.
Burroughs makes a great point. How on earth can you how do they justify keeping Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney around? Maybe they clean the toilets. I don't know, because really,
Marty Herney's not here. He's not in the building. They're keeping him on because they don't want to pay out his contract.
there you go.
He's not in the building whatsoever. Now, Marty Mayhew,
Not during working hours.
Listen,
at night I hear he's in there cleaning, he fixes the trash cans and whatnot.
Him and Adam Peters have a long-standing relationship, and the NFL is about relationships. Who you know, so that's why he's still here. Got to deal with it.
Tight end wise, I've got 2 tight ends. I've got Donald Parham Jr., who I think was with us previously at some point. Yeah. And then CJ Uzama from Philly, who's been released.
Yeah, I know. I think our tight end room is fine.
We've got with Yankoff.
3 solid tight.
Jesse's Carson Wentz was the over in the LA and San Francisco. It was 40.5 and turned out to be 41.
Yankoff.
Yeah. That was perfect.
Okay, that was good timing. And then cornerbacks. There's only 3 that I could find. It's slim pickings at corner for me.
The fellow from the Bucks.
That's fairly decent. Caleb Farley, don't really want to touch him. I think he's a bit trash, but he could be okay. Mm-hmm. And then Lamar Jackson, the cornerback, is the only other one that's there that you think, yeah, okay. Running back, which is Michael Carter from Arizona. Fuck's sake. Shut up, Burroughs, man. You know what? My wife's in the chat, and she'll tell you, mate, that I am like that. I will write
Burroughs,
dairy.
Scott makes the list when he gets to the store, and he lists everything in the store and comes out and says to his wife, "You realise they've got 3 less packs of butter than they had last week. They're slightly low on sugar packets." Oh my God. Anyway, so please continue, Scott.
So Lamar Jackson, the cornerback, is the only one who's been released by Carolina. He was at Baltimore. So before
So they had 2 Lamar Jacksons in Baltimore?
Yeah, Michael Carter is the
Michael Carter is one I'm interested in. A little bit, if they're not, pleased with Jerry McNichols.
I don't know why they wouldn't be. I mean, they signed him, they brought him in here, so I don't know why they wouldn't be pleased with him. They kept him.
I don't know. Like I had him. I know we went a different way when we were doing the First String podcast. We went Wiley.
I like Wiley,
but I did say Jerry McNichols. But I in the end I agree with you. But I'm going back on it. I thought they should probably kept Wiley.
I thought so too. I thought Wiley played pretty good the other night. And granted, he's a rookie, he's an undrafted free agent, but he showed good vision. He showed some good start-stop there right inside the hole and was able to produce yards by keeping his feet. He didn't just run up the back of his guys and keep his feet churning that way. He would stop a little bit, churn his feet a little bit, and then give his offensive line a chance to open up a seam for him. And then he'd exploit that for 3 or 4 yards. And I kind of like the way he played the other night. Got a touchdown. So
I think he certainly showed more than Chris Rodriguez, and I think he showed more than McNichols as well too.
Rodriguez is a Ron guy, and that's just poison. He's out of here.
So
he's gone.
Look, let's talk about this. I want to talk about this offensive line real quick. This is what we got, and let's talk about, are we really going to keep with this? I think we got 9 of them, which is a little light for offensive linemen, especially
when one of them's Cornelius Lucas.
Yeah.
One of them's Alexander Wiley.
All right, so we got Michael Dieter. He's our backup center. Backing up to Tyler Badias. I think we need another guard center combo guy.
Well, they got rid of somebody. Yeah, they got rid of Stromberg.
Well, that's what I mean. If we can find somebody like that on the waiver wire, that might. We've had bad luck with centers here. We all know that.
Well, that guy Ricky Stromberg, he's a guard center.
Not saying this, Badias is going to get hurt, but just never fucking know.
Yeah, it's still the same field.
Nick Allegretti, can he play center? Maybe. I don't know. He played guard and played a little bit of tackle in the Super Bowl. Got Trent Scott. No, man. No,
they're keeping him around for the name.
I'm surprised that he made the 53, to be honest with you.
He's terrible. He's awful.
The first to get cut.
The only reason that he made the 53, I think, is because they're so light at anybody that can play tackle.
Correct.
And right now they can't. Brandon Coleman's not going to be ready. I'd say a good month.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah, either way,
if it was a month, he would have gone on the short-term IR.
Either way,
so your left tackle, Jesse, is Coleman and Lucas as a kind of swing tackle almost, and then right tackle we've got Wiley and Scott. There's nothing
Scouse's guy, man.
Sam
Scouse's
Cosmi.
guy. Wiley made the team. He's the best.
Fucking nice. Scouse has got his jersey right now.
He's
using his jersey as a beach towel.
There's no backup right guard, which is why I said go out and get this guy. Oh, hello. Go out and get Jesse. Hello, right? Go and get Jesse Davis and go and get Royce Newmark, and then we've got Newman even, and then we've got a left guard stroke right guard, and then we've got a guy who has played tackle everywhere. He's played left guard, right tackle, and left tackle. That's
I think
great.
Guards are pretty interchangeable as far as
I know.
left and right, and Cosme was healthy last year. He's had some little bit of injuries here and there, but we just hope that he doesn't get hurt because he definitely is our best offensive lineman. I disagree with John on Coleman. I think that he's going to start week 1. I honestly do. I think they've just been saving him. They said he was close last week. I think if it was a real game, he'd be ready to play. And I think he's going to be our starting left tackle.
Timothy's correct. My dog did not like the idea of no starting left guard because he knows once this shit happens, I'm going to get pissed off. I think that the whole season hinges, and everybody knows this. It hinges on Jaden Daniels, and everybody says when they're looking at all these position groups, wide receiver and all this, and they say, "I'm not comfortable with these wide receivers." I'm not. Good quarterback play changes everything. Everything. We've seen it happen. As long as you can keep him upright, I think he can run that fucking offense.
We got 3 guards on roster.
Yeah. That's the thing.
None of them are like guard center. What's up, Toothpick?
What's up, Toothpick?
That makes me nervous a little bit. I don't know about you guys.
So, it makes me nervous because of the attrition level that we always seem to suffer.
Yeah, Chris Paul and Trent Scott. Those 2 names are on the bottom of the roster right now. Look for them, something to change in that aspect, I think.
Chris Paul.
The dog has just been cut. Sorry, that was...
That was who it was, bro. The Turk was at the door to cut me, and the dog ran him off.
Rose's follow-up as well. I've got a list of new dogs for you.
I am also concerned with that's why when I said Braden Daniels, you would have never thought I would say Braden Daniels got cut, but Braden Daniels got cut. I mean, we are really playing with fire here.
Every time he was out there, he played well.
Yeah, and I mean, when you
Max
look
wants
at
to say something, but he keeps freezing up. I'm
I'm trying to remember the rule before I sound stupid. We do get practice squad elevations 3 times a year. Say theoretically, Braden Daniels makes it through to the practice squad. We could play him 3 games before they have to activate him to the active roster. So he could still be the starting right tackle, just not on the active roster.
What now? He could be in the game on Sunday and not be on the 53.
Because you can elevate 2 players from the practice squad to the active roster on game day 3 times a season. Well, you can.
Right. Was this not part of the veto that they had yesterday of the quarterback?
No.
All right. Okay.
No.
So you can be on the practice squad and start on a Sunday and still get practice squad pay, which sucks, but you're still getting that 3-game window before they have to
get a game check. You get an actual game check.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Okay,
but for how much?
If you do suit up, you do get a game check. I heard that today on the radio.
But I mean, that is something we haven't considered. Is that just because they're not on the active roster now doesn't mean that tomorrow, if they're on the practice squad, they can't play on Sunday.
Yeah.
Either way,
I think it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to use this second overall waiver claim to get some offensive linemen in the building for me.
I think, long story short, I'm really worried about our offensive line depth. I think we all should be.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, when you look at this team, all right, and you can say all you want about there's new guys in the building and there's new coaches in the building and the new players in the building, whatever. It's the same old fucking field, and you cannot ignore the attrition level that this goddamn offensive line has faced for 20 years. All right, you just can't ignore it. Even guys that we've had in here. I mean, we were talking about Morgan Moses with the Jets, right? We had Sheriff in here. Both of them were getting hurt left and right all the damn time. Trent was getting hurt left and right all the goddamn time. So pay attention, all right? And I'm kind of surprised that Quinn has not I'm not going to say he didn't, because I'm not going to. No, I couldn't say that about him. But the fact that he is such a detail-oriented guy, and we are this thin, with the whole sole hope of this franchise resting on this quarterback, who weighs 130 pounds soaking wet, right?
Yeah.
Keep him upright. If you can keep him upright, he throws it within 2 seconds. He's getting the ball out in less than 2 seconds over the preseason. That's fantastic. And that will elevate everything as long as he is not unelevated into a grave before the fucking season's over.
We knew we couldn't fix everything in 1 year. We understand that.
No, yeah. But you can do
like I 100% agree with you, John. You need to protect your asset.
Yeah. That's why I wear a Depends diaper.
Well,
I'm not that old yet.
But the thing is, I mean, we all knew this is what it was like before we got into these cut downs. Now, if you take our starting line and you said, look, let's look at our starting line, it isn't actually all that bad. It's just we know what yeah, that's the problem. We know Wiley's had poor play, but we know he can play well. We don't know what Algretti's like. He's an unknown.
That is an unknown.
The rest of them,
we know that.
The rest of them, I think we're okay with. Potentially.
I think what
left tackle, don't know.
You want to help Allegretti out, you get out there in pregame warm-ups and you get the defensive tackles that he's going to be facing and you just smear him with a little bit of freaking pig fat. And he'll get ugly and mad.
I'm going to bite back a little bit on this, Burrows, as far as our offensive weapons go. I think we do got good weapons. I think a lot of people are discounting Old Man Ertz. I think he still has a lot left in his tank. I think he's healthy. He's been balling out and has gathered an excellent rapport with Jaden. Terry's going to be Terry. All right. I expect, probably about 1,300 yards for our man. And
I expect a better Terry. I expect a better Terry.
And then that's not even including what's going to be the driving force of this offense, especially earlier on this season, and Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. We are going to be a running fucking team this year.
I hope so. I hope so much it's not even funny. I'll tell you what, if you look on the first drive of our preseason, when Jaden Daniels threw the bomb down the field to Diami Brown and all that, yeah, whatever. We ran the ball. We ran the ball something like 4 or 5 times on that drive. I think it was only like an 8-play drive. We ran it half the time, and we ran it effectively. You get those guys, you get Allegretti with his ugly goddamn face to be able to fire off and throw some punches, and you get better play. You let those guys push off instead of going passive with a pass block, you give them better play. And when we got down close, they all keyed on Brian Robinson at the goal line. They all flipped into the look. They ate that play action real quick that Daniels did on the bootleg, like that.
Like that.
I would love it if you just opened it up now and there was another person just wheeled onto the screen and it was Nick Allegretti. Would you say? You call me ugly?
Where have I got his picture up here? I do. I have his picture up here somewhere. And yeah, I mean, he knows he's ugly. He's a guard.
Yeah, no, Brian, you're 100% right, brother. They're going to pay a good part in the passing game. You're right. Go ahead, Max.
So, am I frozen? Am I all good?
No, you're good right now.
All right, it's been a weird night. I'm going to say something y'all are going to hate for a moment, so you might want to get our ad ready.
Fucking hate it.
Before last season, before we hired Eric Bieniemy, Rivera said this is going to be a team that runs the football. And then they hired Eric Bieniemy. And we all saw what happened with the passing game last year. But
Bieniemy said, run, R-U-F, R-U-D, R-U-L. He couldn't spell it. Go ahead, Max, you were finishing?
But in terms of what this team was built to do last year, it is to run the football.
Damn right.
Could we do it last year? Maybe not, because Eric Bieniemy is allergic to the run game. But
true.
If we focus on it this year, we actually could be able to do something. Because Cliff Kingsbury, when he was in Arizona, his offenses averaged 8 yards a carry.
Didn't Connor break out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Connor broke out. And Kyler Murray was the...
When he was healthy, Ertz was great too, but it all revolved around that run game.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that's
Kyler
what I
Murray
saw
was
on
the
that
fantasy quarterback 1 before he tore his ACL.
Sure was.
There's a reason why
I had him on one of my leagues.
He was in the MVP
because of that run game that you build off of it. That's the reason the Cardinals made the playoffs.
Right. Remember that
They
one
were
time
8-0
he got himself stuck in James Conner's cleat. He was trying to hand it off and he fell into the guy's shoe and he got carried into the end zone.
He tripped up in the little lace hole.
Yeah, he fell into the lace hole.
Max, that is one guy who is genuinely tiny. I mean, I was small, but we just walked past us and we didn't even know he walked past.
His afro was like almost as tall as me. I didn't even know he was there. He walked right past us.
Literally right past us, yeah.
Well, that's an opportunity for us to hear from our sponsor again. So welcome to everybody that's in our chat. Sorry, Scotty. You see how many people are here? They got to hear from our sponsor. That's why they're paying us. So welcome. Here we go once again.
If you are an NFL football player drafted or signed by head coach Ron Rivera between the years of 2020 and 2023, this message is for you.
I am a football player that was drafted or signed by Ron Rivera.
You may be eligible for a special discount rate to the Ron Rivera Position Flex Academy.
That sounds good. This is Ron Rivera, and I can show you a whole new way to succeed now that football hasn't worked out the way we had hoped.
That's right. You could be eligible for college-level courses to help you position flex into an amazing new career. Careers like shopping center security officer, parking facility attendant, French fry station operator, Uber driver, mop and broom technician, office building cleaning specialist, and many more. Learn from incompetent instructors at home over the internet, much like you did when you played football for Ron Rivera.
Hi, Ron here. If I drafted you, I'm real sorry about that. I mean, you had that cousin that was in the Navy, and I got all carried away. But hey, all of that's in the past. Now we focus on moving forward. Am I right?
That's right, Ron. But wait. If your parents were in the military, or knew someone in the military, or knew someone who said they knew someone who used to be in the military, you get a 10% discount on your first month's tuition.
Wow, that sounds great. My dad was in the Army.
Go to the head of the class, young man. Claim your name tag and hairnet today. And if you sign up today, get this special secondary course, How to Get the Most from Your Health Insurance Benefits by Professor Clinton Portis. Sign up today. Class is forming fast.
All right, there you go. So that's the last time for the night that we will play our sponsor.
Look, I'm going to say this lightly. I don't think our line is as weak as people make it out to be. I don't. Now, our depth, yeah. We start having an injury, yeah. But we got 3 new starters on the offensive line. A Pro Bowl center, a Super Bowl winning guard in Allegretti, and then you have Sam Cosmi, which is a absolute beast. While he has his issues, we know that. There's no denying that whatsoever. But a lot of the issues last year was throwing the ball 55 fucking times. You can't fucking do that, okay? You can't fucking do that. The Eric Bieniemy called the fucking offensive line plays.
Dude, we passed it 50 times in a row one game.
And we still finished in the top, or in league half in offensive line ranking.
Yeah,
we had a quarterback that held the ball way too fucking long.
Yeah. We seem to have been. I've been yelling about the quarterbacks holding the ball ever since we had Jason Campbell. It seems like it's a weekly thing for me to just go throw. So far, I haven't felt that with any of our quarterbacks.
One thing, Jaden Daniels.
Throwing it less than 2 seconds.
I mean, he's gotten the ball out of his hands faster than anybody else this preseason.
Gunslinger, baby. Less than 2 seconds is what I heard on Kime. So what that is I don't know, but it's 1 point something. What do you think about that, Scott? You got a list on that? The 1 point safety show. That's right.
Like that. There you go. That's a good stuff. Max is gone again. He's having some serious issues.
Yeah, he really is.
Unbelievable.
What else we need to talk about? You want to talk about the defensive backs?
We can. I'm not happy with our cornerback play, but I know you're going to argue with me and yell at me. But I just see them keeping giving up touchdowns.
I think the cornerbacks
are outside corners.
The weakest spot on the team. I think they're weaker than the offensive line or outside corners.
Owens transitioning to corner. Is there any reality in that?
I don't think so. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he could do it. I think he score a perfect 10 on the athletic score.
He did, yeah.
I mean, the man caught a fucking bird in midair.
He did. I've seen a guy do that on a construction.
If you can catch a bird in midair, then you can play cornerback in the NFL. Yeah. Fucking A, man. What the fuck?
All right. I'll tell you what, man. Why not? What the fuck?
Fucking fuck.
All right. So we have fulfilled that obligation. There we go. That's nice. All right. So
catch a bird, you can catch a ball.
Who do we expect to be on how many practice squad members do we get first?
16.
Was it 16 or 17 or something? 16?
So I'm expecting a good, healthy chunk of them to go to practice squad.
I'm going to say this. I think half the squad is going to be people that weren't on this team. I'm going to hope.
Practice squad?
We have some bad, our practice squad. Okay. I think maybe 8 of them come back. That's, that was in camp. Mm-hmm. And then I guess maybe this is hoping. I'm hoping they go outside and pick subs because some of the guys we had in camp, man, I don't want them back.
No. There was a lot of guys that I saw in the secondary, especially, and both of them got cut, like Whiteside and Pierre. They were just bad out there.
Pierre surprised me just a touch. I mean, well, I didn't think it was making it. He surprised me in camp because I thought he was going to be a little bit more because he started games in this league.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, Davis wasn't really that good either.
He wasn't good at all. I was not impressed with him at all.
I know Scouse thinks he was going to be starting corner, but he was bad.
Yeah, the times that I saw him out there on the field usually was running behind somebody that had the ball, and that's not where you want to be. All right, so what do you got on your list left, Scott? Anything left?
No, not much, mate. I think we're there.
All right.
Well, I got a question. I do got a question for the crowd.
He has a question for the crowd.
Is Mr. Mustache going to be our kicker?
Yes.
Josh Taylor? I hope not. Dude wears some fucking funny shorts.
Chad Ryland got cut. Joey Sly beat him out.
I'm all right with Mr. Mustache. You already have to pay the 7th past 4 o'clock, right? Or whatever we offer.
It's done, yeah. Because he's on the roster. That's it. We've got to pay the 7th.
At 4 o'clock.
I know. I think it's week 1. I think it's week 1. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He hit the kick. He hit his kicks the other night.
I'm pretty certain he said if he makes the active roster, we have to give the 7th.
I think he got to be activated for week 1, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the language that I heard.
You see this dynamic?
It might even be
here, Scott.
It might
with
even
you.
Be week 3.
He's all. I think he has to do this, Scott. Maybe he has to do. With me, he's all. Fuck you. You're fucking stupid.
Fucking shit, man.
Fuck off.
Look, Scott's a fucking proper lad.
He is a proper lad. But honestly, he made his kicks the other night, and he didn't make any of them look at all.
He made 2 basically extra points.
That's all right.
It's 25 past 11 at night on a Tuesday, and we're talking shit about kickers. Can you just bugger off so I can get Oasis tickets and leave me alone? For fuck's sake.
Oasis tickets. You know what I always say, man? Rock and roll is healthiest when there's a bunch of English pissheads busting up hotel rooms and starting fucking fights in bars. Welcome back, Oasis. That's what I say.
Yes.
It's gonna be interesting. Let's hope we can get tickets. One of us anyway. I think there's gonna be probably 10 of us trying to get them out of our group that we know. But It'll be like anything. The last time I did something like this, I jumped on and it said there was 208,000 people in front of me in the queue. So I was like, well, that's that then. Cheers. I'm not getting tickets.
Burrows, I will make a wager on that we're going over 6 games.
All right, welcome back to Max. We're just in time to say goodbye.
Oh, all right.
It's all good, man. 6 games. What Burrows is saying? Six wins. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, there you go, Deluxe.
That's
what I heard.
Anywhere between 6 and 8, I'm expecting.
Yeah, I got around 7, 8, something like that. Me too.
Yeah,
hovering around 500.
But I'm going to always hold off this. Good quarterback play can change everything. Good quarterback play is the rising tide that floats all the boats. And it's possible that we can get even more. We could get up to 10, I'm thinking.
I think the
if
top
we get
of the
good
roster, top half the roster, your starters, I think there's more talent than we've had in a long time. There are some weak spots, no doubt. No doubt.
Sure, but
cornerback being one of them. I think we're going to be great at safety. I think we're going to be great at linebacker. And I think our defensive tackles are going to be fantastic. Edges, not sure about yet.
I don't know who they are. I mean, I know some of them are.
Armstrong
they're nothing to write home about. Nobody's a killer.
Every time Armstrong got on the field with Dallas, he played really good. He was just behind some freaking stalwart defensive ends.
We need an assassin. We need a guy that can go in there and freaking fold somebody in half, and that's what I'm looking for. Look, I'm of the old school. I don't like these flags. I like it when the fucking back of the quarterback's helmet hits the defensive lineman's helmet right there. Wham! Knock the shit out of that guy.
And get a
I want to see our assassin. Well, look, you do that on the first quarter, sometimes it's worth it. I'm telling you, you laugh. I'm telling you something. I saw Dexter Manley playing against the Cowboys in the playoffs, jump the line of scrimmage, run around everybody who was still 2 fucking hands in the ground, and smash Danny White. And guess who couldn't play for the rest of the game?
I'm just pulling my sandbag up, John. Hang on, just 2 seconds, mate.
Danny White. He fucking was scared to death the rest of the game. Sometimes you go in there, you take that penalty. Sometimes you have a guy on the fucking guy. You have a guy that you say, okay, look, we're going to get you thrown out of the game. Go in there and fucking cream it. That's what I do. That's what you do when you got somebody. Tell you what, I'm talking to you, fucking Antonio Gibson or Antonio fucking Pierce out there in Oakland or Las Vegas or where the fuck you are. You got to play the Chiefs in the first quarter. Get your goddamn bottom end defensive end. Say, son, we'll pay you your game check, but you're getting thrown out of this game. Go in there and fucking take off goddamn his head. Take his head off. I don't care if the whistle's blown.
One last question.
Yes.
Do we think Ridgeway and Mathis will both of them stay on the roster?
There's been people calling about Ridgeway in terms of trade. I'd hate to see it.
Max,
I really
what do you
would.
think?
I don't see a reason why not right now. Frankly, I don't think Mathis is bottom of the roster, and out of the bottom roster, I think he's at the top. So unless there's 4 or 5 waiver claims, I think both of them stay.
Do we think it's a little redundant though?
You can't have too much D-line depth. If one D lineman gets hurt, you're suddenly looking for defensive linemen. At the same time, it could just be an additional rotation. If you look back at how many defensive linemen he's kept in the past, he's kept 5-6 DTs.
Sure. Hey, look, you know what? Mathis has to show that he can get past the game.
True.
He has to get past the quarter.
He has to get past the game. Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, I've heard that there's been talk from a bunch of teams trying to get Ridgeway. I'd be disappointed in that. I like Ridgeway. I've always liked Ridgeway. You liked him when he came on board. You predicted that was going to be a great signing. It was one of Ron's few good signings. He is not a candidate for the Ron Rivera position flex academy. But he's got a high motor, and his best ability is availability, which you cannot say for Mathis.
That's true.
Or Newton at this moment. So, we got hope for Newton, but that's it. All right, then. We are getting up on our hour.
Oh, fuck off, Scouse.
Look at Scouse, Jesse. Is
fucking fuck.
Well, and with that in mind, we're going to go
making sure
ahead.
you got enough.
Exactly,
just making sure you got enough.
I just said there, watch out, because you might have a word with TSA.
I got plenty. TSA, Scouse doesn't have anything to worry about. He just gets in front of those guys.
I'm going to whisper in TSA's ear, hey, you need to watch this guy.
I'm going to see Lick and Benjamin. gonna see Breaking Benjamin, so you gotta let me through. Breaking Benjamin's playing. Oh.
You sound just like him.
I do not. He's gonna get mad at me. What you saying there, bro? What you saying, bro? All right. And with that, we are gonna.
I don't know where he came from. There it was like half Indian, half Welsh. I have no idea what happened.
Got him. Jesus Christ!
Let me just break down all of your accents and tell you how come they are so incorrect.
He's going to write him down on his list.
Yeah, that's it. Make a list of the stupid accents that John can't do. That's what we did. All right, so everybody that's been here tonight, we thank you very much. We see that there's a good group of you out there. Everybody, hit that thumbs up button, man. Subscribe to us. This is a fun podcast. We're not going to be back this Friday. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know what it is. But we're not going to be back here this Friday because Jesse is taking his awesome motorcycle to another contest where you win Best Bike all the damn time.
I do win some, yeah, I do.
So, yeah, he sends us a picture every weekend. Best bike again, best bike again. So you know what? If you see there's a bike show, go over there and say hey to Jesse because he's going to win.
Spends more
in
time
North Carolina
on his bike than his beard.
He's got a friend down there, Scott. I got to bring that animation back. So, excuse me. So we will be back 2 Fridays from now to preview the first game of the season. Then we start our Mondays. We are on Mondays at 5:30 after the game, and we're also on Saturdays, by the way, to pick football. So it's going to be a Bleeding Burgundy autumn, and it's coming all up soon.
Smorgasbord of Bleeding Burgundy.
By the way, I just want to say one thing about watching, I'm watching college football, which was a damn good game, but I'm watching all these other, I'm like watching the Commanders game, for example. The commercials for the Big Ten and the Big House and Big Michigan and big. They got a band plan. Everything's going to be fucking big for Fresno State versus Michigan. Fresno State? You want me to tune in for that? Look how big it is. Fucking Fresno State's going to be like a fly under their shoe.
True.
So anyway. I just get a kick out
and,
of all that.
We see a lot of you guys watching, a lot of you probably on Twitter. Go over to YouTube.
Yeah, man.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you know exactly when.
That's right. That's right, because honestly, sometimes I don't have time to tell you. All right, then. Somebody's echoing real bad. I have a feeling it's Max.
It's probably my head.
Everything's coming through everything. I'm doing it the way
it's probably me.
Doing good.
It's preseason for us all.
Am I Yecko? Echo.
It's preseason. It's fine.
Echo.
That's right. We'll get it all figured out. So here, we'll hear if we echo and we say see you later.
See you later.